Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down, and back in for one of two final times for some more Spooktober action. That's right, man. It is October 30th. We have just today, and then tomorrow is finally Halloween. And all month we've been watching different spooky, scary Halloween movies, and I've been throwing up reviews daily-ish. We've had a couple bumps in the road, like today where we had to get caught up on two. Now we're getting to the 30th, and after this we only got one left. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, boom, there it is, man, right there for you on the screen. That is our Spooktober schedule. As you can see, we've had a wonderful mix of fun movies and terrifying movies and creepy movies and just good old-fashioned family fun Halloween movies. And I've had a great time this month, and as we move back a little bit to the 80s. We've been chilling in the 90s all of the last 7 days. Jump back to the 80s for a movie that definitely had heavily influence on The Nightmare Before Christmas. There's imagery in this movie you see and you're like, oh man, I bet you that is something Burton thought of, because this, of course, is another one of those Tim Burton masterpieces. So why don't you pull up a chair, take a seat. We are getting ready to dive into Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice! Oh, wait, there he is. Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice is one of those movies, man, that sticks with me. Not so much because of the movie when I was a kid. I came around to the movie as I got older. The movie, for me, was my gateway to the cartoon show, or it might have been vice versa. The cartoon show might have been my gateway to this movie. Because I was a huge Saturday morning cartoon fan, and for a good stretch, there was a Beetlejuice show, and I adored it. I lived for when that show would come on, because it was just zany and wild, and this Beetlejuice ghost was crazy. I definitely saw this first, and it was fun to see, specifically Beetlejuice and Lydia carrying on adventures all the time. As I got older and I watched Beetlejuice more, I came to love this movie as well. And I love Michael Keaton's performance in this movie. And what's crazy is if you total up all the minutes that he's actually on screen, you maybe have about 20. He pops in for two big sequences, and then some of these nice little side sequences when you get to the second half of the movie. And that's how iconic the performance is, man. I mean, he just goes all in, full out on this, right? Some of that zany Batman stuff that doesn't necessarily work with Bruce Wayne. You want to get crazy? Let's get crazy. Little out of the Bruce Wayne element. Perfect for the Beetlejuice element, man. Being that zany and wild and crazy and just, and that voice, man, is so good. Just lets Keaton have an absolute ball. And when he's having a ball, he is lighting the screen up, man. He's so much fun. And even though, he's technically your antagonist, you love Beetlejuice, you know what I mean? It's just that kind of performance where even though he's doing messed up things to the Maitlands, you just enjoy because of the way he delivers it. It's this terrifying stuff, but he's doing it with a smile, even though he means it to be super terrifying. His gags on Lydia's family to try to get them out of the house are legitimately terrifying, man. But there's something to it's that Tim Burton element, man, right? There's something to the creepiness that's kind of not so scary, and then you're actually, this is kind of fun. I'm enjoying watching this snake version of Beetlejuice terrify everybody, And I love the whole sequence when he's trying to marry Lydia, and you have Barbara and Adam are trying to stop it, and he keeps taking out Alec Baldwin's teeth and throwing them across the floor, putting a zipper on Gina Davis's mouth, and then she's unzipping it and still talking, so let me slap some metal on there so that you can't speak, because if they say his name 3 times, he'll disappear. And I guess we should probably talk about the story a little bit, right? Adam and Barbara, played by Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis, they are, getting ready to take a staycation, so to speak. They're going to stay at home for a couple weeks and just enjoy it. And their vacation starts with a car crash into a river and them dying and taking a little while to realize they're dead. And then once they do, realize that their house has been sold and the people moving in are totally redoing it. And Adam and Barbara put so much work into getting the house the way it looks, so they want to scare him away, and they're not very good at it. And they go to the afterworld a couple times. They have like a caseworker they can talk to and try to help them, and teaches them some things so that they're a little bit more scary. And their approach, but eventually they come across Beetlejuice to try to help. And like I said, the Keaton scares are freaking like terrifying, but like in a really fun way. And that's something that Burton is so masterfully good at. And speaking of Burton, like I said, this is another one of those like classic Tim Burton masterpieces that he had in this whole stretch. I mean, this, Edward Scissorhands, Nightmare Before Christmas, which we just watched. Dude was on a roll. And Beetlejuice, it fits everything that's Burton. And like I said, the way that he finds, things that are creepy or scary, like the snake, the sand snakes that are always chasing Beetlejuice, at least in the TV show. But when you find them, like, they're scary, but there's an element of fun to them, like they're painted white and black and they're striped and their faces are a little strange and there's sometimes two of them at one time. And, it's just this thing that like you sit there and you go, it's scary, but like also kind of fun. And you see that with a lot of the different things that are in here. Even when, Adam and Barbara go for their scares and the prosthetics they put on Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis are legitimately terrifying. Like, Alec Baldwin pulls his face into like a rooster almost, so to speak, and then pulls his eyes out and then multiplies them to make 10 of them on his hands. And then Gina Davis, does something kind of similar. She just kind of stretches her mouth out so it kind of looks like a massive beak, and then knocks her eyes out so that they come out through the back of her throat. And like, they're scary, but like at the same time, there is this quirky element to them that makes it feel like it's okay to have fun while they're being scary. And that's just one of the things that Burton does masterfully here throughout the whole movie. And when you watch some of the things that he works with and some of the creations, like the guy who's officiating the wedding, his look to him kind of has like a vibe of something you might see in The Nightmare Before Christmas. Certainly when Beetlejuice rolls out his arms, that whole idea of unrolling while doing it the opposite way, like from the underside, kind of similar to the way, the hill stretches out in The Nightmare Before Christmas. On top, same scene, it's a carousel on him, and on top of the carousel is a little skeleton head. Looks very similar to Jack Skellington, and there are just elements in the movie that you can tell definitely inspired or got him there. Even some of the ways some of the animation works, some of the special effects in there look like they might have been 3D animation for like some of the sofas and couches, the way they move. But all of the visual effects in the movie are pretty nuts. Like even the Beetlejuice snake, like you have this prop head and it's on something, but you can tell there's like green screen in there, and it's kind of wonky when you think of like the way graphics are now, but visually back in 1988, really, really good stuff. And across the board from the production side of things, I think Burton just knocks it out of the park. And the script comes from Michael McDowell. Like I said, he creates a fun, ghost house, a haunted house. And you have these two super nice people, in Adam and Barbara, who they just want their house to stay their house. And like they really dig Lydia, even though they're not huge fans of their parents, specifically her stepmother, Delia. And there's this interesting relationship, but because they're this nice family, there's kind of like this, we don't want anything to happen to Lydia. Maybe we can learn to coexist with these people. And you get to have a lot of fun with that. But while you're having this fun, even when they're trying to legitimately scare them, like one of the first things they do is, they start singing the shake, 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 Sonora, shake your body right. Work, 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 Sonora, work it all the time. Oh yeah, I believe you, jump in the line. Rock the body in time. Beetlejuice is taking over my... Oh, actually, it's Adam and Barbara. That's their thing. Like at a family dinner, they turn that song on. Adam always has it when he's working on his model of the town. It's always on in the background. They turn that on and they start making everybody dance, and then slowly bring them back to the table to like have these crazy, creepy hands come out of their soup and pull them in and stuff. And it's a ton of fun. Like everything they're doing, like even while they're scaring him, they're having fun until they realize that they're not getting them to go out. Lydia's family basically wants to turn it into like a haunted house museum type thing, or some sort of an attraction, or like a paranormal like facility type bit. And that kind of leads them to Beetlejuice. And even though the people in the afterlife warn them, Beetlejuice, he doesn't like to work with people, he's a loose cannon, they bring him in and he ups the terror. And really is, like I said, he's our bad guy. He's the guy that they have to stop so that bad things don't happen. But there's this charm to him that Keaton brings to the character. And as the whole movie just kind of progresses, by the time you get to the end, and Adam and Barbara are able to save Lydia, you find out that they get along with the family really well. Like, Lydia does well on her tests, and they do the jump in the line song and have her float, and that's how the song, the movie ends. But you also see that, like, her parents, who weren't necessarily the people you were the biggest fans of in the movie, are having way more fun with having ghosts in the house. Her stepmom, who she does not like creates a Beetlejuice sculpture. She's a sculptor. That looks like the snake one that scares her dad, and stuff like that's great. And the other thing that makes this movie awesome is the cast, which we keep kind of going back to. Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis, young Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis, are absolutely awesome. They do really make this wonderful, really nice couple who, like, you just want to root for, because, like, they caught bad luck. They were driving home, a dog runs in front of their car, Baldwin, like, pulls the wheel so that they don't hit it, and they end up in a river. But they're very easily likable, and they're also, like, kind of slow. Like, they don't understand right away that they're dead. And when they do understand that they're dead, they have a book, but they don't read all of it. So, like, they're missing things, and they keep going back to their caseworker who they're driving nuts, whether it's, like, they're just bad at their jobs, whether that they're, like, getting themselves caught, like, they get a picture taken of them, they call Beetlejuice and don't put him away, like, all these things. And that's the other thing too with Beetlejuice. When they do call him, he lives in the model of the town that Adam built, which is hysterical. Like, the way he uses the toy cars and just that whole environment is a lot of fun. But Baldwin and Gina, chemistry wise, like, they feel like a legitimate married couple. They seem like the super cute couple that lives next door, and they're easy to root for. And even though they can be kind of clumsy and not the brightest, they're easy to like, and they're easy to root for, and you just have a lot of fun with them having a lot of fun with the movie. Then, of course, we've talked about Lydia a bunch of times. She, of course, is played by the great Winona Ryder, who was also having a hell of a time working with Tim Burton back then, and she's great here, man. She is like the epitome of, like, girl who's gone to the dark side, man. Always in black. She's super pale. Even the eyeshadow she puts on just, like, makes it seem like she's sunken in. Like, I'm here. I hate my life. And getting to watch her be that the whole movie, flirt with wanting to kill herself so she can be with Adam and Barbara, and then almost being, like, trapped for eternity, how that all kind of changes her, that where at the end of the movie you get somebody who's coming out of school talking, like, to her friends, she's in her uniform, and Winona has fun with both, even though she's that for only, like, 3 minutes. She does great execution on all of it, and like you said, you can tell she's having fun being that, like, loner that is super sad and depressed, that can totally semi-relate to Beetlejuice. There's an interest in Beetlejuice because, that side of things kind of intrigues her. And when she jumps to that side, it scares her to go back to, fixing her own life, which is awesome. And like I said, Winona does an excellent job that entire stretch in the movie. Then you have her parents, Catherine O'Hara and Jeffrey Jones. They're great. Jeffrey Jones is just like, he's a smart businessman. He knows how to make money, but he just wants to relax. Like, it's the whole reason he bought this house in the country. Get out of the city and relax. And I enjoy watch him juggling that, especially with his wife, Delia, who's Lydia's stepmom, played by Catherine O'Hara. She's fantastic. She is like, you hate her immediately, and you think that they're going to be the antagonist, and then lo and behold, it is indeed Beetlejuice. But you really don't like her just because of the way that, like, she treats Charles, the way that she treats Lydia sometimes. And by the end of the movie, you've actually kind of come around on the family the same way Adam and Barbara do. And Catherine O'Hara plays that really, really well, man. Like, you really dislike her, but then, like, by the end of the movie where she's kind of softening and kind of dealing with all of the haunting that's going on, you do kind of soften up to her, and she is a little bit more likable, specifically at the end, man. When she has that friggin' Beetlejuice head and she scares Charles, I was like, okay, Delia, you and me are all right. And then last but not least for me, Glenn Shaddix, who plays Otho. He's kind of like Delia's like partner in crime, so to speak. And, you know, it has that art side of the world, and she's brought him with them from New York to help keep her sane out in the country. And he's hysterical, man. Like, Shaddix just has this, you know, look and approach to him that's like very unique, and like he wants to stand out. And when he conducts the seance toward the end of the movie, like it's just his voice and the way he can bellow it or say things just pops all the time. And then, I mean, his wardrobe, man, he loves red. So he loses that. He's got the blue at the end and he's screaming. You know, just all these fun things for Shaddix to play with. And he's super enjoyable. And when you put that all together, you get a great freaking movie, man. And like I said, it spawned a cartoon show that I adored as a kid. So I love me some Beetlejuice. You know, like I said, Michael Keaton, iconic character. You say the words Beetlejuice and there's an image that's immediately in your head. He's only in like a third of the movie. So you go, man. Those are all my thoughts on Beetlejuice. Another big bag of win for Mr. Tim Burton and everybody involved. Big fan from this guy. Now I know what you're thinking. What are your thoughts on Beetlejuice, man? What do you love, not love? What are some of your favorite moments? If it didn't work for you, why didn't it work? What do you wish would have been added or could have made it better? If you love it, man, like I said, just give me all the things you love, from Keaton to super young Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis, you know, Winona Ryder, whole cast, Burton, animation, the visual effects, anything you got, which could be a lot or maybe nothing, down below in the comments section. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, you want to come hang out for the C-Man one last time this Spooktober, you want to be here when I drop that Halloween review for the most recent Halloween. We did the regular Halloween back. You can find it. It's on the channel. But you want to be here for that. You haven't yet. Show a little love and support for the old C-Man, the channel. If you do like what we're doing here, jump over there. Join the C-Maniacs by hitting the subscribe button. Hit that little bell that follows if you want those alerts. And until next time, for the C-Man's Cinema, sit down. I'm the C-Man. I'm signing off. Peace. You guys are still here? You must be looking for some more content. Well, don't worry. C-Man's got you covered, man. You got videos like this guy and this guy. And if you haven't yet, and you want to come check out all the C-Man goodies, join the Cinema Sit-Down squad, man. Hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the little bell down below that, too, so you can get alerts every time I make new videos.